Hey, this is Daryl, Food Truck. Services. Heading out on a pickup, a little bit of distance. We're going out in the country. Doing a pickup for a repeat customer. And then I'm going to do some moving labor. It's about a 3-hour job, I think. Gonna head on out. Hope I got enough gas. Wanted to get some gas on the way. I need that hat for now. It's a little bit hot right now.
Turn left, then take the first left onto East Mansfield Avenue. Turn left onto East Mansfield Avenue.
Traffic out here. Still pretty warm right now for
At the roundabout, take the first exit onto East Montgomery Drive.
Late September 25th. So still getting a little bit of warm weather here. Kind of like summer still. A little bit hazy out, but cloudy. It's still warm.
In 1.7 miles, turn right onto North Argonne Road.
I got a repeat customer that I've been working with since February, off and on since February. I think I've talked about this customer before. They're doing a remodel of their whole entire house. So a lot of construction had to be done. So I had to remove a ton of construction debris, trash, and stuff like that. I've done a lot of yard work for them over the last few months. A lot of yard cleanup, yard removals, organizing the garage, moving stuff around, you know, taking some appliances out, moving some appliances, picking up furniture for their new house, you know, certain furniture they're picking up from Facebook Marketplace, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to pick up a cabinet. It's a little bit far out in the country out here, so it's going to be a bit of a drive, and then getting that in. After that, we got to move another table I picked up last week. Extremely heavy, so I don't know how I'm gonna bring all my dollies and stuff. So I don't know how I'm gonna get that up in there. It's like a really
in 1 mile, old, turn right onto North Argonne Road.
Antique table, like a King Arthur table, so it's pretty heavy. So hopefully I can get that in there. I don't know if there's gonna be help, or I'm gonna have to just do a lot of maneuvering. We'll see what happens with that. And I did some other work around there, like installing some lights around the house and outdoor lights. And probably clean some gutters and things like that. I'm supposed to sweep the roof and clean the gutters. Then I got another repeat customer this weekend. Final move. I've been moving them for the last couple months, or at least a month. I can remember. They've had to move quite a bit because they're trying to get a permanent place, and they finally were able to get a permanent place. And so I'm moving them into that place. They were staying in like Airbnbs and stuff. So they finally got a permanent place, and we're moving them in this weekend, the end of the month. I got another call from a repeat customer from a while back that I was doing some, labor hauling and stuff. I did moving some firewood for them.
Go past this light, then at the next one, turn right.
They want me to pick up some stuff and take it to the trash, so I'll be doing that hopefully coming up, maybe tomorrow or Friday. They wanted a quote. And then another repeat customer is coming up on another move. So I got a lot of mainly repeat
at the light,
customers,
turn right onto North Argonne Road.
Referrals, that kind of thing. I got a lot of calls from other customers on Craigslist. Just hasn't worked out. Did some quotes and stuff, they weren't, didn't work out for whatever reason. So that's, so far it's been a lot of repeats. The last couple of months, it's just, if I haven't had the repeats and the referrals, I probably wouldn't be doing very well. So, but I've just taken time to build those up, and I'm building more and more as I go, and gaining trust from customers to get those referrals and those repeats. It's probably the most important thing I would think that you can do as a business service provider is to garner up those repeats and those referrals.
In 8 miles, at the roundabout, take the second exit.
When the economy has shifts like it is now, there's certain things that are going on. Maybe it's not as easy as it was to get customers. Things aren't booming as much as things have changed. We have cycles and stuff, and ups and downs, and during those times, your repeats, people that you build up trust, and those are the customers that are going to keep you afloat. Like last year, I had a guy who hired me to do freight hauling for his company, and I was right when things were really super slow. Things are really slow, and that saved me. I look back at my calendar, and that saved me for like several months through the winter. So that was good. So by building up the trust with them, and they trusted me, they kept me on for a long time, all the way into the summer, and then they ended up having. I think they probably got their own truck, but yeah, it wouldn't have worked out if you didn't, build up their trust and show them that you're reliable and trustworthy. That's much better than getting jobs just through marketing and just through like some kind of brand or logo. Because those you could spend a lot. Well, these bigger companies, they're going to spend a lot of money on the logo, on the branding, the logo, and the whole marketing. And of course, they're going to hire a bunch of people and have the uniforms and so forth. But they spend so much money on marketing, and I've had so many people complain about big companies like that. They just messed up their furniture for moving, or just rude or whatever, because it's just a brand. It's guys they hire. There's probably, I would assume, there's probably high turnover in a lot of those companies. People they're getting paid not that high of a wage, most of them. So, and the people that are working for them aren't going to be. It's not their company, so they don't have a lot invested in it, so they're not going to have as much respect. I've worked for companies like that, and I had full respect, and I treated it very well, and customers nice. But not everybody's like that. A lot of people just look at it as just give me the money, I want the paycheck until I get a better job, and I'm out of here. Especially labor jobs, they're always looking for something better. You're not going to. It's very hard to hold on to someone like that, and if you do, if they do become good workers, you're going to end up pushing them up into management, supervisor positions, where they're not going to be on the job. So the guys that are on the job don't last. They don't last all that long on the trucks. So you're always having these new guys that are not really that trained, that don't have a lot of experience with customers, moving things and being careful, and so they screw it up. So that's why these customers have, these companies have a lot of insurance to back them up. But because of all the marketing and all that they have, they can continue to build their business, but they may not be able to get these long-term customers as easy because they're not, they're not, like, the employees aren't as experienced. So, like I said, all those other things I said, that it's going to be harder for them to, even without the uniform and all that, doesn't matter. They may look professional, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are professional on the job, because when the boss is not looking, they probably don't act the best way. I know, because I've had to hire people on jobs, and when I was turning around the other way, they were doing things that I wasn't approved of, and there's nothing I can do about it. You can't be micromanaging people all the time like that. So that's why it's a one-man show, or whatever you call it, and it has a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience, and and knows how to deal with customers, and has been doing this for a long time. You're gonna get a lot of these referrals and these long-term customers for years, and they're gonna refer you. But you're gonna have to be doing the work, of course. It depends on if you want to do the work or not, or if you can hire somebody that you can really trust, which is an end-use partnership with them, and you can trust them that much, and they really respect you and your business. That's different. But other than that, you're gonna have to do more marketing and rely more on that aspect of business, which I don't have to. I don't really do I don't do a ton of marketing. I really don't. I'm very limited. But like I said, once I build up the repeat customers and the referrals, it takes a life of its own. You don't really have to. You focus on your primary customers whenever they call. Like for instance, today, the customer called me just a couple hours ago and said, "Hey, I need this done. Can you come out?" A bigger company's not going to do that. They probably won't have to schedule you in. Me, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go, because I'm always ready for that, ready to serve that customer that served me, that's helped me out. It's a win-win situation. So of course I'm going to go help them. If I didn't have time today, I would do it tomorrow. I'm not going to schedule out 2 weeks in advance. I'll do it now, or I'll do it last minute. But if it's a repeat, if it's a customer that I've dealt with for a long time, then they're going to get white glove service. Well, that's how I get those customers, do white glove service. You treat their things with respect, like it's yours. And so then once those customers continue to call you back, and you make sure that you're there to help them out when they need it. And then it's a win, like I said, a win-win situation. And I've done that for years, doing that kind of stuff. It works. I prefer to do that than the other direction, which it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to do the clipboard, what I call the clipboard aspect of our clipboard approach, would be building up a brand of uniforms and slick looking thing, and spend a bunch of money on marketing, and really kind of like the 1-800 junk, or the college junks, and appear to be this really cool company, but in the reality, you're just some guys you hire that you put a uniform on that may not be all that experienced or all that trustworthy or any of that. You don't know. Even with background checks and all that, I've hired people on previous moves that I thought were really good people, and by talking to them and knowing, and even having them come out on jobs for like a week or a month. I've had guys that I've worked with for more than 6 months, and then all of a sudden they turn into something different, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. All of a sudden they're stealing stuff, they're acting really weird, they're drunk. They kept themselves looking good for a long time to keep that job, and then when they felt like they could just let loose, all hell broke loose. And I had to stop calling them, because so you never know, unless you know someone like a friend that's for a lifetime, they've known, and that you can trust. That's good. I've had that too, or a family member. Then you can have that really quality service with those people. You can trust them to go out there and do a good job. So it's a tough thing, if you're going to do it. It depends on how you want to approach business, but I just know that from all the complaints I've had of customers who hired these so-called quality service providers. I don't know, I can't even tell you how many times people who have hired those people, and once they hire me, they're like, I'll never call those people again. I'll call you. You did a way better job by yourself. And then 2 or 3 of those guys, they were clowns. I had to keep my eye on. In fact, one place I had to go in and step in and start helping them. That's how bad they were. These are guys with uniforms and national franchise logos and stuff. You think that you could trust someone like that, but that's not necessarily the case in all cases. So, and I've had a lot of complaints from customers that have hired people like that, spent a lot of money, and ended up with clowns on the job. So when they find someone like you, they can trust that you're doing the job correctly, they're definitely going to call you as long as they need that kind of work. Whenever they need that kind of work done, they're going to be calling you. And if not you, they're going to see if you know somebody you can refer that you know you can trust, which is also good. You can refer. You know people to refer. So that's kind of how it works. In my mind. Maybe everyone had different experiences, but that's just what I've seen. I don't know if it's still taping or not. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. I just got a long trip here, so I might as well talk while I'm tripping while I'm driving on this into the customer's house. Yeah, it's kind of hazy. I might need these shades on me. I like this drive out here because you're out in the country. You can't see with it right there. I thought about maybe on the way back I'll tape up my camera if I have room on it. Probably won't have room on it now that I'm taping this. You can see some of this stuff. It's kind of cool. Farm country. It's very scenic out here. So in the meantime, if I have room on the camera, I'll do that. If I don't, a lot of times I don't like doing these videos because I'm trying to concentrate on. I don't know where this person lives, so I gotta focus on that because it's a new place. So I might just shut this thing off here in a minute and focus on where I have to go. I just wanted to talk about. I've talked a lot about repeat customers, and that's because that's what works for me. So if anyone is out there that's wants to do the one man or two man, one man plus a friend or someone you can trust, or a family member, or someone who's going to be building their business based on quality, not quantity. There's a difference. Like in anything, like quality is, you're going to get the best provider, service provider, best experience. They're going to experience that when they hire you, or if they buy, like say, a product. Your quality is more about quality than quantity. That's kind of the way I look at the way I like it. But some people believe in more quantity versus quantity versus quality, which would mean the more business, the bigger they can expand, the better. Well, yeah, but then it's watered down, and once it gets watered down, it's kind of a false reality. It's like you can have the cool looking shirts, and you can have all that fancy logos and all that, and have a watered down service provider. You could have some kid driving the truck that's only been doing it for a month and shows up at your house and breaks everything, and is an asshole, or is not very, customer service orientated. But he's wearing the shirt, he's got the logo, he's got the hat on, he's driving the fancy truck. But that's what happens. You can't, unless you do an extensive training period and monitoring, and screening. But when you're talking about the kind of pay that you're going to pay somebody to do this kind of work, it's not like you're monitoring and screening someone for NASA or or something that's getting high
In
pay.
1 mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit.
These kind of companies don't bother with that kind of screening. It's just too much money too much effort. I mean, it's not too much effort. It's just too much expense and time to do that. So you end up with, you know, you're kind of just gambling at that point, hoping you get a decent person that's going to, you know, respect you and your business. But that's very rare to have that happen. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just you're rolling the dice with that. You know, I see so many times. I mean, I've worked for big corporations in jobs like that. I see a lot of people just clowning around all the time, unless they're micromanaging. Like when I work for UPS, they really, really micromanage us. Even then, there's people clowning around and not respecting the job. But they really micromanage you. They have a lot of supervisors.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
That kind of kept it kept the employees in check. That's very difficult to do if you're starting out and you're trying to build up and expand like these companies, like, you know, 2 Men in a Truck, or, you know, College Hunks and all that. I mean, it's more of a challenge to. You can't really micromanage people like that. You can't send, like, yeah, you can have
in 1 mile, turn left onto East Day Mount Spokane Road.
I gotta focus here. Yeah, you can have say a really good employee, someone's worked for you for like a year, you boost them up into a leadership position, and then you could send someone that's inexperienced with them. And sometimes you get lucky with that. You get someone that's really, really committed to the job and wants to, you know, help progress the next employee and all that, and train them. You know, but training and all that goes.
At the next stop sign, turn left.
Training and all that can only go so far. Micromanaging, but the person has to be a person that respects other people and respects your business, and not just
at the stop sign, turn left onto East Bay Mount Spokane Road.
Not just there for a paycheck. You know what I mean? I mean, if they're just there for a paycheck, then they're not going to be quality employees. And even if they put the uniform on and all that, they're not going to have, the customer's not going to have a good experience if they have that attitude. You know, to replicate that attitude, and it's really a luck of the draw, because no one really can know someone like that until they start working with them a long time, and it's dealt with. You know, it can happen. I'm not saying it can't. It's just it's a little more challenging than to monitor yourself. Like if you're
in about 2 miles, turn right onto North Newport Highway.
If you go out and do this work on your own, and it's your own service, and you really take it seriously, and you want to build it up to get these repeat customers, you're gonna be having the customer. You're gonna try to have the best quality. I mean, you're gonna provide the best quality as possible. I mean, things happen and stuff. I know that, but you're gonna try to provide the best quality that you can to keep those customers, because that's what you want and that's your goal. And not every employee is going to have that goal. If you have employees, a lot of them are going to, their goal is to get the money and maybe go to school, get another job, or get a better job. Or if they are thinking about moving up in your company, they may be, you know, jealous or whatever. There's all these things that can happen. They could be sabotaging your business. They could be stealing from you. You know, you don't know. So you got to be careful when you're hiring people. And I know I'm talking from experience. I've had a lot of bad experiences that I don't even want to get into right now. People stealing from me. People showing up drunk, high, disrespecting customers, breaking things behind my back, sabotaging jobs. Acting like fools, just on and on and on and on. I can't even. I could write a whole book about people I've dealt with in the past who did that, and so I know what happened. That's why I just decided one day I just wanted to do it on my own, and I'd hire friends and family members whenever they were available. But mainly, I was like, I'm just going to do it on my own, because I can trust myself to get things done that way. But I don't want to sit there and stress out about trying to get other people to do the same. So that's the deal right there. Now I'm going 20 miles an hour. I'm in a school zone.
At the next light, turn right.
You know how hard it is? Like, I know people have this experience. You get to these school zones where you have to go 20 miles an hour. And it's almost like I have to put the brakes on to keep the truck from going faster than 20. I don't want to get a ticket because I've heard people getting tickets for these, like 20 mile an hour zones, and they're a pretty expensive ticket. They're not cheap. Definitely not cheap. You want to make sure you're going to 20 miles an hour, and you don't get caught doing that. Same with because they're much more expensive than like a red light ticket, or you know, standard red light ticket. I've never got one of those either, but they're expensive, but not as expensive as a school zone one. So be careful on those.
At the light, turn right onto North Newport Highway. In about 14 miles, turn left onto East Eloika Lake Road.
20 miles. I haven't been out here in a long time. I usually don't come out this far. I can't think of the last time I came out here. It's not too bad going around the backside. You start going, like, on the way back, I have to go through the city to get to where I'm going, and that's where it gets ridiculous, because, you know, you're having to sit there in traffic. That was weird. The person was going slow, and all of a sudden I decided to pass him to go fast. You could have gone a little bit faster, I would have stayed behind you. I don't like the speed. I just don't like to go really super slow in a you know, if the speed limit's 60, I'll go 60. I won't go 40. And if I'm breaking down and the truck's having an issue with the blinkers on. This road here is always pretty smooth and not much going on here.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Stay in the left 2 lanes. There's only 2 lanes. Okay, so I got 13 miles. Yeah, I don't need to be in the left lane. So there we go. I'm just this is pretty easy drive now for now on. Not a lot of people live up there. This is like a freeway that goes up to Canada. There's little towns all the way up here. I've been all the way to the end of it, all the way down to the end of it, which I think was 80 miles or something. But there's not a ton of people that drive down this. It's not like a heavily populated area, so I can relax and take my time. This is a 30-mile drive. I really, like I was saying yesterday in my other video, I'm trying to keep the drive to 25 miles. Try maximum 25 miles, but since this customer is really nice to me, and you know, I've been working with this customer for the last 6 months or more. I don't know, maybe 8 months. I don't know. We'll see. Quite a long time. Of course, I'm willing to go a little bit further out. I noticed they have a transfer station out here, so I've never been to it. I've only been to the one near me. But I thought about it, if someone ever called me for a junk roll to job out here, I could just drop it out here. I thought about moving out here one time, at one point, just to get away from the city part. But then, and I looked at this road, it's like, yeah, it's not a bad road to go in and out of, but it can be kind of a challenge coming into it if there is traffic. It's not the most convenient place to be, and so even though it's cheaper out here, I always think about convenience when you have to go grocery shopping. Like if you're living out in the country out here, and you got to stock up on your groceries, you got to drive an hour or half an hour, whatever it is, especially like in the winter time and the snow. Then you got to, you know, you go to the grocery store and you, no matter what, if you have a list or, you know, you're organized, there's always something you forget. And you're, oh man, I forgot that. I got to go back. And it could be something important. So if you're having to drive an hour to the grocery store and stock up, you know, for a month or whatever it is, and you forget something and it just throws you off, you know, it's like you got to go all the way back. So I thought about that, and the convenience, you know, being out in the country, it's peaceful and all that, you can land, but you have to sacrifice that convenience of like the grocery store or the store or, you know, going to the DMV or going, whatever thing you have to go, going to the mall or whatever, picking up stuff, services and that kind of thing. It's you know, that you have to, you have to sacrifice that. And so there's always something you're sacrificing, whether you're living in the city, you're sacrificing your peace, you know, the noise, the traffic, the crime, all that stuff gets irritating. But if you go the other direction, you go out in the middle of nowhere, you get the peace and all that, and relaxing, and you can land, but then you got to sacrifice all the conveniences that you get in the city. So it depends on how you look at it. If you had a ton of money, I can see, you know, if you're very wealthy, I can see living out in the country, because you can have a lot of that service provided for you. You know, people can deliver it to you. Say if you need groceries, you can maybe have someone deliver it to you. You can use Amazon to deliver, UPS. If you don't want to leave, you know, you could pay for all those services. You could also have more storage, you know, more freezer space, things that other people don't have access to. You could have your own water, and maybe your own chickens and things, maybe get eggs and stuff. So those things too, you can do that, but I think you have to have money. I mean, if you're trying to get by and trying to survive like me, it's kind of out of the question as far as like living out in the country, because even though it's cheaper, it's just I don't have the time or the money or the resources to be. And then if I was doing this, driving a truck, you're driving way more miles to go into the city to do work. So you really don't need. If you're out there, you really don't want to have to be worried about working, because you probably just want to be kind of independently wealthy, or have resources that you don't need to be relying on having to go to the city to work. That would be constant commuting, and it would be stressful. That's all. It would be very stressful. You have to do that because if your truck breaks down, driving, commuting in the middle of the winter, or commuting at night, going out in the woods. If I lived out in the country, I would not want to have a job. That's just me. I would want to make sure that I just could stay out there and do my own thing, and not really worry about that kind of stuff, because that just puts too much stress. You might as well live in the city and have all your conveniences and just worry about the other things that can be dealt with. I mean, you can tone out the noise, you put headphones on, you can secure your place for crime if you need to, depending on where you live. Traffic, as far as traffic, I mean, you can get deliveries to your house in the city through Instacart and all that for a much cheaper price than if you're living out here. You know, so if you don't want to go to the store. And I live close to the store, so it's not that big of a deal to go down to the grocery store. It's only like a half a mile or a mile away. It's not, everything's close by, so it's not a big deal. And I don't have to drive through a bunch of traffic until later at night. So in the meantime, I'm just going to stick with this. I live in a suburb, not a city. Like, I wouldn't live in I've lived in big cities before, and the downtown regions, I lived in a high-density urban environment when I was younger, and that's okay. But now, I wouldn't do that again. Suburbs is fine. That's where I'm going to live, a suburb. Until I get access to a lot more money, then I might consider going out in the sticks. I got a lot of resources and all that. I remember coming out here. I remember the exact area here. It wasn't that long ago. I remember coming out here. Oh, I know what it was. I came out here for a junk wibble. That might have been a year ago. Let's see. Now I'm starting to have flashbacks. It's a nice area. Yeah, I came out here for a junk removal. Oh no, I also came out here for a delivery, but I remember coming out here for a junk removal job. And then the guy had more stuff, and I gave him a quote because I was like, wow, I didn't realize how far it was. You know, I gave him a really low price for pulling a bunch of wood out of here. But he wanted me to quote on this big pile of old dead wood and all that, which would have been hard to get. I tell him, you probably should get a dump truck and a scoop, you know, and a loader, because hand doing this thing's not really, it's going to take forever. But he said, okay, whatever, give me a quote anyway. I gave it to him, and I thought it was fairly cheap. I never heard back from him, which is good, because I really didn't want to deal with it. Hand loading a bunch of dead wood and spiders, and I've done it, but into a box truck, it's not the best thing. I one time came out and I did a delivery out here, and I'd never been out here because I hadn't really lived here that long, and I decided to do this long term. It was a delivery guy needed something pulled out of a warehouse, and the trucking company wouldn't drive it out there, and they had to wait a month. He was out in a log cabin in the woods, and I'm like, not over exaggerating when I talk about this. He was in literally a log cabin. It was like, you know, like Grizzly Adams. If you're that old, remember that show. It was like Grizzly Adams, and he was on a reservation, so Native American reservation. So it was out there. But when I looked into going out there, I was making sure that I looked at each town to see if they had a tow truck or like a mechanic shop, because I wanted to make sure that if something went on, I have my roadside assistance for Progressive. Now Chevrolet doesn't work, but at least I knew I can get towed like into that shop and get some work done if I had to, or a tire or whatever. Because I've been out in areas where you're too far out, and the services are so far away. There was a time where I got lucky. I actually was able to get a cab. I was out in the woods. Tire exploded. Okay, there we go. So I was out in the middle of the woods, the mountains, and in this truck here, doing a delivery or moving job, and the tire exploded in the middle of nowhere on this, windy road. And luckily, there was I didn't even know the tire had blown. I felt really weird. It was a back tire, but there was a rest stop, like a truck truck stop, not slash rest stop on the side, and I just happened to be able to pull right in there, and I got stuck there. And when I looked, and my tire was blown out, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, I was like, maybe I could hitchhike or walk. You know, I called my roadside assistance, and they're like, it was going to take like 6-7 hours. I mean, here's how ridiculous it was. I'll go back to the story, but eventually I had to get a motel room in the town, about 20 miles away, or it was a while away, and wait, because that's where the tire shop was, because I didn't have a spare at the time. And even if I did, it wouldn't matter, because it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping, and I got a call from Progressive, or from, I don't know if it was Progressive or AAA, whichever roadside assistance, because they were out in the middle of nowhere. They didn't have any service providers available, so it took them that long. I'll hear it, and I gotta remember this is the landmark right here. So I think it's 2 miles from here. So anyway,
in 1 mile, turn left onto East Eloika Lake Road.
So what happened is I kept calling these cab companies. There was a town that was like 20 miles away, or was away, a ways inland, and a little dingy town. I figured, well, they have cabs, and no one would answer the phone, no one would respond, because it was in the middle of the night. It was late, it was getting late. Not middle of the night, it was getting late. It was busy, a weekend. And no, I thought, well, that's it. I'm just going to have to sleep in the truck. And I don't have a sleeper yet. I'd sleep on here. I mean, it's really uncomfortable. So, finally, this company called, a cab company, said, I'll do it. And they came out and they...
Turn left onto East Eloika Lake Road.
They were nice enough to drive me into town, and I was able to get a motel. And they told me where the tire shop was, and I was able to go get it the next morning and get a tire. And the tire, it was slush swab, and they were nice enough. Because I said, well, I guess I got to take a cab back out to the shop. They're like, oh no, we'll drive you out there. So they drove me out there and fixed it and everything.
In 2 miles, turn right onto North Perry Road.
Perry Road. Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna shut this off because I gotta focus now.